Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into, well, a pretty fascinating future, the year 2179. Imagine a world where your thoughts, they aren't just private musings, they're actually the economy's engine.
Yeah, it's built around this concept called credence. Ideas literally become currency, and your mind, well, it's the vault holding all that value, a very
Yeah.
valuable vault.
Though maybe not a very secure one, it turns out. This fundamental shift where ideas are wealth, it changes the game entirely, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We talk about IP now, intellectual property, but this source material takes it so much farther. It's almost physical. If a thought itself has monetary value, what does mine even mean anymore? It's a huge question.
Exactly. And our source for this deep dive, it's a piece of fiction called The Thought Thief, and it throws us right into this world with Rena Kale. She's a researcher, brilliant, and she starts getting this nagging feeling.
Like her ideas are being poached.
Yes, exactly. Like they're being stolen right out of her head. And it's not just paranoia. Her credence ledger, the official record, it starts confirming it. Her concepts, logged and sold by someone else.
Which brings up the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
How does this credence ledger even work? Tracking, validating thoughts, the infrastructure needed must be immense. And how do you secure that?
Right. And we're not talking about small ideas here. She's losing big concepts, self-healing bioplastics, phase-shifting cloaks.
Cutting edge stuff.
Totally. Things with serious credence value. And then patents for her projects start appearing, but not under her name. It's like
Wow.
industrial espionage on a whole new,
Yeah.
terrifying level.
Way beyond just hacking a server.
Yeah. So our mission today is to really unpack how this kind of theft could even happen in this fictional world and, maybe more importantly, what it implies if thought itself becomes vulnerable.
Okay, so let's look at Rena. Her first reaction, like you said, isn't someone stealing my thoughts. It's more self-doubt.
Right, she blames being tired, then maybe thinks she's getting paranoid. It's relatable, I guess. Facing the truly weird, you blame yourself first.
But the pattern becomes undeniable. Her ideas vanish just before she nails them down. That forces her to think the unthinkable.
And that creeping dread is really palpable in the source. She
Yeah.
works at Neurocorp, big, powerful company, sits overlooking this futuristic city, Neo-Atlantis. It all feels very high-tech, very secure.
Yet something's wrong.
Deeply wrong. She even mentions this unease, this feeling of her ideas leaking to her colleague Davy. And his first thought,
Standard corporate espionage, like someone planted a bug.
yeah, almost. Quaint, really, given the circumstances. It's logical, maybe, based on our world, but not what's actually happening to her.
Because it seems tied to her neural monitor, doesn't it? The very tech meant to manage her credence and maybe even protect her thoughts.
That's the puzzle. How are thoughts getting out? There's no network breach, no obvious malware, so what is the vulnerability?
It's a fantastic question. How do you steal something that hasn't even fully formed yet? Seemingly without leaving a digital trace.
Well, this mystery pushes Rena away from the shiny corporate towers and into, let's call it the biotech underworld of Neo-Atlantis.
Yeah.
Desperate times,
Seeking answers off the grid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She finds this place, the cradle. Sounds ominous, right? Like where you go when mainstream tech support just isn't going to cut it.
The fringes, yeah, where the rules are maybe a bit more flexible. And the technician she meets there, his first reaction tells you everything.
Expensive.
Yep. Signals right away this is deep, probably illicit, and definitely risky territory she's stepping into.
And it is expensive in every sense. She undergoes this deep diagnostic scan, and it finds the problem. It's called a shadow circuit.
A shadow circuit, what is that exactly?
It's described as this parasitic piece of nanoware. Tiny, undetectable, latched onto a neural stream itself.
Wow. So physically embedded, not just software.
Physically there, silently siphoning off her thoughts. Chilling.
Okay, so how does that work? How does it steal a thought?
The technician explains it's like a passive relay. It picks up the neural signals of a forming thought just microseconds before Rena herself is consciously aware of it.
Microseconds. That's all it takes.
In this world where credence is awarded for originality and speed, apparently yes. That tiny edge lets the thief register the idea first, claim the credence. It's exploiting a delay in consciousness itself.
That is an incredibly subtle and terrifying vulnerability at the absolute core of thinking.
And then comes the warning from the technician. Removing this thing, it's dangerous, very risky.
Because it's so deeply integrated.
Exactly. And, he suggests, its placement implies whoever put it there knew her neural architecture intimately. Someone close.
Ugh. So it shifts from this abstract corporate threat to potential betrayal, someone she knows, trusts maybe.
That's the implication. And the removal process sounds agonizing, but Rena's determined. She needs her mind back. It's about intellectual autonomy, really.
A fight for her own thoughts. Understandable. So does she suspect anyone specific?
Well, suspicion lands squarely on Davy pretty quickly. Right after her procedure at the cradle, she gets this message from him, talking about a big breakthrough he's had.
The timing seems convenient.
Too convenient. It leads to this confrontation. She finds him in the lab, hooked up to a neural interface himself, and on his screen.
Let me guess. The credence transfer log?
Bingo. Transfers from Rena Kale's source ID straight to Davy Merrick. It's undeniable proof.
Oh, wow. So he confesses.
He does, and it gets worse. It wasn't just him acting alone. It was Neurocorp, the company itself.
The company was implanting these siphons on their own researchers.
On researchers they flagged as high potential, systematically, Davy. Well, he was basically a handler in this scheme. Complicit.
That's a dark turn. Why would Neurocorp do that? Risk everything.
Fear, mostly. They were afraid Rena would go independent, take her brilliant ideas elsewhere. They wanted her innovations on the market fast, under their control. Ethics, trust. Clearly secondary.
Market dominance over basic rights. It's a grim picture of corporate pressure in that kind of economy.
Definitely. But Rena has an ace up her sleeve. Remember the technician at the cradle?
Yeah. Did he give her something?
He gave her an override code, a way to fight back, and she uses it right there in the lab.
What's the code do?
It sends this disruptive pulse through her neural net, scrambles all the back doors, the unauthorized links, basically slams the door shut on the siphon and any other hidden access points.
Taking back control, digitally speaking.
Exactly. And instantly, her credence ledger corrects itself. Her balance snaps back to what it should be. And, oh, security alarms start blaring everywhere. The system knows something just happened.
The system detected the correction, the reclaiming of her assets. What about Davy and the emotional side of this?
Huge betrayal, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Rena's disappointment must be crushing. Davy seems regretful, sure, but the damage is done. You see the cost of this kind of systemic theft, not just in credence, but in trust, in relationships.
Absolutely. It poisons the well.
And Rena doesn't stop there. Her final move is to upload something called the Intellectual Sovereignty Protocol. It seems aimed at the whole system.
Not just fixing her own issue, but maybe exposing or disrupting Neurocorp's entire operation.
It seems like it. Lights flicker, systems go haywire in the lab. It feels like she's declaring war, really. A war for the right to own your own thoughts. She walks away, having reclaimed her mind, but you get the sense this is just the start of something much bigger.
Wow. So stepping back from this story, the core idea here, this neural tech being weaponized for IP theft, it's genuinely disturbing.
It is. The source material paints a really vivid picture of what could happen when thoughts become, commodities. Direct economic value, direct target for theft.
It really forces you, the listener, to think about the implications, doesn't it? If every stray thought, every spark of insight had immediate cash value, how would that change how we interact, how we trust?
Would you ever share an idea freely again? Would collaboration even be possible without ironclad neural security?
And what about the vulnerabilities we haven't even considered? Beyond the tech, what's the psychological toll? Knowing your innermost thoughts might not be private, might actually be up for sale. It's a chilling thought experiment. Makes you value the privacy of your own mind right now, doesn't it?
It certainly does. A lot to think about there, about the future of ideas and ownership.